That's nice. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining. Sorry that we have not that much space here to run this, but really happy you're here. So we are going to talk about agents, about Fabric, and about 3 IQs till yesterday. So right now we have another one, but I don't care somehow because the 3 that is we're seen already. If you like, you can connect on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to answer all the questions that will be happening for you for the next month if you're implementing this kind of configuration. What we want to look today for is we ingest the data. So who of you is Fabric expert? 1, 2, 3, 4. Who is developer? More? What's the rest? What are you doing? Okay. But okay, not too funny somehow. We do orchestration on the pipelines with the notebooks right now. Then we are talking about data agents, Foundry IQ, and Work IQ somehow to run all of this pipeline, all of this workflow. But first of all, about the Microsoft IQ infrastructure, we have Work IQ, Fabric IQ, Foundry IQ, just to have for our agent a context, so a knowledge. As I have done my PhD at university 10 years ago, we created our own database. And the people on our chatbots, they were completely frustrated. Why? They asked something, it was great. I thought the knowledge base was great somehow. And then they asked something else, it was not in the knowledge base, and it failed directly. So we talk a lot about broken chatbots right now. If you summarize Work IQ, and then I will demo this also, if you summarize Work IQ, it's about the data, daily business data, what you have in your tenant on your emails, meetings, files, chats, whatever you have there. But Work IQ is also enabled, or enables us to work on this one as MCP from external positions. So in Work IQ is directly in Microsoft 365 Copilot. It uses this one, but Work IQ MCP servers, there are several, they can be also requested from somewhere else. Fabric IQ, the same. We talked about Ontology there, perhaps something what we see on our business data, how the sales is going, how the company performs, and so on. And Foundry IQ is our one knowledge base over several different resources, whatever. You see there are 3 IQs here. That's why I have for the Microsoft build 3 people, so 3 persons, because it's not even one person who does all of these 3. Because one person who is on the Foundry perhaps, that's myself, it's talk about the agent, they talk about orchestration, they talk about whatever, coding and so on. Hannah is in the middle. She's providing Fabric. She's going for the data, running the notebooks, providing the data for different use cases, whatever. And then the last one, and then from Germany, sorry for the accent somehow, is Raphael. From Germany, it's the most important people. You can create your data, but if a compliance guy is not on your side, you're done. We talk in Germany a lot of data, privacy topics, and so on. So the whole project from myself and Hannah will be killed if Raphael is not on our side. And he's going for the Copilot and Agent 365 because Microsoft added something for us that got this AI solution complete right now. 3-4 years ago, we created on Foundry, it was not Foundry, it was Azure AI, Azure OpenAI Studio somehow. We created agents, and then we racked these agents with data from SharePoint Online and blob storage. The people were crazy. I was in this lab. The people liked this one. That was great. But do we move in production on this? No, not every time. Why? Because the people do not trust. The intelligence is there, and Satya is talking about intelligence and trust. The trust was not there because the agents you created 3 years ago somehow, it was like a black box. Nobody knows what's happening. And do I put my company data there? My critical data? Perhaps not. That's why we created a lot of POCs. It was great to demo this one, but the customer was saying, oh, I don't see anything, I cannot control. Right now, the puzzle is there. So let's talk about Work IQ, and then perhaps I can also show you this. I can just go for my Microsoft 365 Copilot and ask something on my security emails if I like. I can also do the same from Foundry, if I'm creating from Foundry. So here, I'm sorry for this. This one is Raphael, who is going for Copilot, who is doing governance, who is doing whatever compliance. This is myself. I created an agent, IQ agent somehow, and then you see here on the bottom, there's a worker IQ mail as MCP connected. So my agent, right now, if I do not connect worker IQ mail, can only answer questions on my GPT-5.4 knowledge, and perhaps if I'm going for the web search, perhaps enabled web search, then I can also answer questions through the web search. So something what is not in the LLM, because it was trained earlier, it's right now the data on the web search. And if we are going then to provide this one, the worker IQ email, I can also show you this in the portal if you like. So it should be a demo. Yes. Now we have here, this is not the data agent, the Foundry, we have the IQ. I hope you can see this one. The green one is new, have never seen this till today. It's up and running, that's cool. The agent is running here. So I use GPT-5.4, I see the instructions, I see the tools. Oh, that is the next step, I'm sorry. Remove this one quickly. The work IQ mail is inside, so I can query data from whatever my emails from Foundry. So right now, then up and running, you see here, I can just connect and then say, hey, please summarize my mails and so on. The agent wants to call work IQ email. You see, I need to approve this one. That is human in the loop somehow, because do I want this one? I'm allowed to connect an agent to my work mail or not, because that is Foundry. That is not inside M365. On a Copilot side, if I was asked the same, I get directly the answer, because I allow the Copilot to use my data and so on. That worker queue is underneath, but it's allowed directly. So you see the difference here. So I approve this one, and then in a moment you will see, hey, there are some emails. Okay, that's cool. That's the first one. The work IQ, if you want to select this one, there's just a connection, and you see there are a lot of different tools like work IQ, Copilot, Teams, Calendar, Email, Word, Dataverse, and so on. So you have different MCP servers to connect to your data from outside. Why I'm talking about outside? Because M365 users, M365 Copilot is inside on the left what we have. And if we are going from Foundry and also from another different resources, you see that we are doing here external connection to our worker queue email, for example. So give me only security emails, then I get this one, that's great. And then I'm going for Copilot Studio before I'm going for the Foundry right now, because you can see just for visualization here, the most beautiful thing here is I can also connect tools like work IQ emails. I can also go for agents, Foundry agents, whatever. But the Copilot Studio is also like a Foundry. It's where you create your agents. But Copilot Studio gets me more insights if I'm just going for summarize my emails, for example. Here the same, just going for this. Then you see on the left, in a second, I'm sorry, I need to refresh because it was not posting my request somehow completely. I'm sorry for this. Come on, I have seen that it works. Yeah, that's nice, it's better. So you see the worker queue mail was initialized, then data agent was initialized, then I can go for both. Right now I'm going only for the context of mail. So you see here, the data agents I don't need. It searches my email and so on. You see what I receive. Then it should, in a moment, show me the summary. If I then want to do something like, let's see, show me for each store. Ah, come on, it's not ready, yes. Show me for each store any freeze operated, and so on, create a draft mail, and so on. So right now, the freezer's data is on a fabric. So what you see here, perhaps I create a new test session, because it was already here created, so you have seen this directly. So 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗶𝗁𝗲 mail one more time, initialize data agent is initialized, and then you see that the data agent is asked, the first question is for the data agent. So the data agent gets, for each store, show any data, whatever, and passes this one to the data agent. Then you see that is working right now, and I'm showing you Copilot Studio just so you see what is happening behind. So, working. Then you see we got some data. The following store have, come on. Here, you see there's a data there. There is, here. Raw output, you see we have Paris and we have Berlin. Here, there are Paris one, Berlin one. And then it goes for MCP, create a draft, and then goes for the data there. So it looks like if it's ready, it's going like, hey, I received this one. It was the last demo, and then created a draft as an email. You see, dear team, please first follow this one, and so on. So it combines data from different sources. Right now, the Copilot Studio goes for 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗶, mail MCP, goes then for data agent MCP, combines both, and get me the information back. So just for quick, Foundry IQ, what is there? How we use this one? It's like a knowledge, and we create this knowledge base. We can go for Azure Search, for web, for SharePoint, for Fabric IQ also, for Azure Blob Storage. So you can create here in a knowledge base different types of connections. And then query this knowledge base and say, hey, I search for data. I have no idea where does it perhaps, well, that's production. Where it is, please find it. And the agent is going and get your job. So this knowledge base will be then going for this blob storage if you compare this one. And then you are ready to go somehow. You have your 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗶, Fabric data agent, if you like, here, and the knowledge base. Right now, if we are not talking about multi-agents, you have one in a single agent. All of these things, what I wanted to show right now on MCP, it's in one agent, but right now I am not ready. I wanted to do Fabric a lot. That's why we jumped to the Fabric, because the new thing, what you know about Fabric is we have Fabric IQ, and that's cool. And right now we have something, ontologies. During my PhD, we created ontology for our chatbot right now, because this ontology is the best graph to search and also be available as a knowledge for your agent. It's the quickest way to provide knowledge. Why? You have a lot of things there like nodes and relations. So you can, if you ask something, just figure out, okay, this node, like a sales, and some data for another nodes, they are somehow related together. And for the agent, if you are running on this one, it's the easiest way to do this one. Like the expresses from Microsoft here, of course, we have ingestion data from pipelines, whatever, we can store on Lakehouse. We then go for the silver one, just enrich the data, clean the data up, and so on. Then we can also do the gold and provide all of this information through semantic model or ontology to the data agents. What we are talking about. If you want to simplify this one, I have one use case from Swiss Airlines. They were going from on-prem somehow also to Fabric, because they were doing something like source domain aligned data product on a bronze silver, and then shortcut this one and created customer aligned data product. And then you can go, and if you're going for semantic model, you're ready to go then to create this one for the data agents. How does it look like? I can just go for the ontology. If you are already familiar on this one, perhaps I show you this live. The data agent was here. The data agent was going for this ontology. There's a data from freezers, products, sales, and then we see for each store. I wanted to know which store is lower than 46%. I got Berlin and Paris, what you have seen live already from the Foundry. But this is the easier way, because I'm right now in Fabric. The data agent is a part of Fabric, so it's internal connection. What if I want to do the same somehow from outside? So something like, perhaps I wanted to show you what is happening behind. So this kind, you see here, what was the completion. What I like about this, I ask complete different question, and you see what was happening. It was leased for each store, the freezer operated by the store on each recorded value, blah, blah, blah. It was grounded, it was somehow get more information for this query than for the agent to run. And then earlier, perhaps last year, when we go for ontology, we were going for lakehouse directly, then you see SQL here. That's the same somehow. So you translate to SQL, got your query back, but on SQL somehow it was, it takes more time if you compare for our agents, for the chatbots we created 10 years ago, we never use SQL for this case. It's ontology. It should be a graph somehow underneath, then you're ready to go. So if HANA then, from this position, so you go for data agent right now and want to query the data, it is HANA. But what if I want to do this one outside? Then I need to publish this one, and you see that is a Microsoft 365 Copilot. You can just easygoing here say, I want to publish this. It's not selected directly, so you have to select. That should be also M365 Copilot. You click on the next, and then you see this data agent is shown up here, and then I'm ready to go somehow to query these data agents. For example, for each store, give me this second and so on. You see Paris, you see Berlin. That is great. What I like most is now I can chat with my data. So someone who is not familiar with Fabric data or underneath as a HANA, from like Raphael or myself from Foundry, can go for this data and just going for show time step and to do some things like convert time step to my time zone, because I was then in a different time zone. That is great, can give me the revenue for each store. So right now I see what is the problem, tell me about the data stored and so on. So if I don't know what is exactly there, I see telemetry data, I see storing data, I see a lot of things there. And somehow I'm ready to go to do things like calculate me something like this, or what I like here is a lot. I can just define a window, and then at the end, I want just to plot this one at control group. And at the end, I just wanted to just visualize here. And this one was plotting directly inside M365 Copilot, just to show me what kind of data do I talking about right now. So earlier I have only numbers. Right now I have plotting directly in M365. And what was there? It was coding for me. You see Python code. How cool is this? So it was just a matplotlib library that uses here and created for me this kind of picture directly in Copilot. That's nice. Okay, what's next? You see here that we can also use the same data agent. If I'm going for the data agent on a publishing page, if I not publish this data agent to M365 perhaps, I just want to publish this one, and then I'm ready to go to see, okay, I publish this one, and then I see the workspace ID, I see my data agent ID, and then I can use it on Foundry. So that is the way how I insert this one here as data agent. You just need to provide here. You can use a new connection or existing connection, and then you need the workspace ID, the artifact ID, and then you're ready to go. If you have already done this, you just connect, and then you all can go for your data agent's data. So, so what's next? we created the ontology. Perhaps one thing, if you want to create ontologies, you need to enable this one first. That's your admin portal. So you have two selections to enable the ontology items and graph preview. And then you're ready to go. We were going from the lakehouse, created the semantic model, confirm this one. I have semantic model, then generate ontology. And that's cool. After a few minutes, I have the ontology here. That's a small example somehow. I don't care about big data. I care about how this all interacts right now. You have your big data at home in your company right now. But you see, if I'm going for the products, I see properties and I see the connections. So I know exactly what is the relations. On a SQL or perhaps somewhere else, I just go and say, okay, this kind of table has something like one to add to another table. But I have no idea what is the relation. So I can specify what is the relation. So Alex is speaking right now at the conference. There are a lot of speakers there, but there's only one conference. I can just specify the relation between, and then I'm ready to go with my agents to do things here. Also specify new things if I like, but then I see I have only 4 minutes left, so then I go for this one. If I want also predict from the stocks, I have another model. I can also do something on this configuration. If I want to code this, that is the final steps on the fabric. We'll go for the coding. IQ. Come on. Fabric IQ. We have here something like a data agent, but what is the problem on a data agent itself? You know perhaps? You create this one, but you cannot configure. And you cannot test this one. You cannot evaluate this one directly in the portal. So what you need here is, if you can go for the SDK somehow and see here, if you configure this one, the workspace ID, I just analyze this one, so nobody can break. I have a repeating talk for this one, so it should work in a few hours right now. I can provide the OpenAI URL for this one. And then I need the temporary access token, configure the Azure OpenAI. And then I can query also on my notebooks if I want to do this ask the data agent something and do the query right now. What will be next? If I'm done with SDK here, I then connect and go for evaluation. Because I want to evaluate if my data agent is working correct. Not my end user should evaluate this one. My data agent should go for this. And I can just create the run here also on evaluation data. And by the way, all of what you see will be available on the repo after the build completely. So all of this coding will be available completely for you, anonymized. So it will be not my data somehow, but you can run this on your own. Define critical prompts, then run the agent evaluation. So you start the evaluation on your prompts, retrieve the summary, and so on, and have something at the end, something like this. So you grant your data, you create your evaluation notebooks, ask your data agent SDK, so use your data agent SDK, running the data agent, then you store the data, and then you visualize this one. Then you are ready to go, because in production, you want to know what your data agent is doing. You cannot just deploy and then see, okay, the end users are going to say, oh, it does not work. How does it work for us at the end? So last but not least, since the time is running away, I'm really sorry. I wanted to show you more on also on ontology, how we create the ontology and what data we have. At the end, if we want to run here something like this. Natively on Fabric, we do not have agent orchestration. So we can do this one on agent, Microsoft Agent Framework. So we code these agents and then we orchestrate. We can go for Copilot Studio, create their orchestration, but not on Fabric right now. So what I try here to use is I can also do this on a pipeline. I have several notebooks, what you can see in repo later, and they provide the data, they prepare the summary, they ask then the data agents about the information, go for Foundry IQ, enrich the data from Foundry IQ because you can call for whatever you want. If you're talking about, perhaps you're familiar with Microsoft agent framework, that is the same. You are going to create one agent, second agent, and then you're going to say, okay, this agent, if it's ready, it calls another agent, and then we're going to orchestrate and provide a workflow there. That is the same here also, but we still stay on Fabric. That's what I wanted to do here. And at the end, if we are going for perhaps blob storage, it can be something else. We get to send the email, so we connect to Foundry agent, going for the worker view, mail, MCP, and then you're sending the output, the email, and so on. So that is something what I will provide you as a notebooks. They are as a template. So I created this one as a template, so you're ready to use this one. For example, if you're going for Ask the Data Agents, this one. That should load. You see here, so you have to payload, you have to here running authorization, and then you're going to call the data agents. You can do this from your notebooks also, so on a coding style, and provide the information then later on evaluation on running on Foundry, and this is something what you can do on your own. So last but not least, when you create all of these agents, and then I'm over the time, I'm really sorry for this. The Agent 365 is a nice place for us to go for production right now, because earlier we created agent that was black box. Right now I see all of this agent, also data agents and so on, to see what kind of information here from the agent side will be created from the users. So that can create agent on Foundry, on Copilot Studio, on Fabric, on they can query also Microsoft Copilot. I see this one on Agent 365, and you are going for this one. So the data agents are just going for this view agent activity. It brings me to Purview, and under the Purview, I see all of this interaction. And this is the last thing. I'm really sorry, I'm over the time right now. I wanted to show you live, and then I'm ready. You see all of these interactions, and you see also not only interactions, but also you see sensitive info types. So if something going wrong, you see that also. If I'm asking on a data agent something on the invoice I'm not allowed, you see this here as alarm, and then you can hunt these user and so on. So you see different apps, you see data agent, you see M365 Copilot, you see M365 app, you see different things here, and this is somehow the last place where you can then get your insights, what is happening on your site. So that's it. Thank you for your time. Have a great build.